National Judicial Council has set up separate panels to investigate various allegations of misconduct against 2 chief judges and 13 others.
Yes, but the NJC's Director of Information, Soji Oye, who disclosed this on Monday, did not name the affected judges. He said their decision was taken after considering the reports of 2 preliminary complaints assessment committees on 46 petitions written against judicial officers in the federal and state judiciaries.
46 petitions. Is that one too many? Now, with us in the studio is a lawyer, Olatunbosun Oshifora. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, my pleasure.
Well, somebody recently said the real problem at the root of the corruption that you find in the judiciary is the way that judges are appointed, that is where the problem lies. Do you agree?
Yes and no.
Okay. Why?
Yes, because over time, I mean, let me start like this. Most of us lawyers grew up, knowing what we'll become. And we had, we have those people we all look up to. You've heard of great judges and justices, that...
incorruptible judges.
Incorruptible judges,
judges.
And everybody had this picture, growing up, looking up to these people that one day we want to be like this person, we want to be like these people. But at the end of the day, over time, I think things just went bad. Military rule didn't help, then corruption came in, and when people try to talk about the judiciary as corrupt and everything, it's just the same thing happening in every facet of the country, different places. You have the same thing in banking, you have it in other, areas of the country. So the judiciary is not spared. Now, but coming back to your question, appointment of judges, it's a tough one. In the course of appointing people, definitely some people will come, some people will go, all right? And we've had good people. It's not like the judiciary is evil, but I had a debate.
When it's rated as the second most corrupt institution in Nigeria after the police, then that is really huge. 44% and 95% of Nigerians who were polled in this particular research actually said that they perceive and they believe that the judiciary is actually really, truly corrupt.
I have a bit of problem with that statistics.
Okay.
Sincerely, it's my area. It's not like I'm trying to defend. Fine. But I had an argument with someone yesterday, just to add to this, and we're like, the way they paint us is like we're the worst thing that ever happened to this country. He now said no, that the judiciary is like, the court is the last hope of the common man. So when your hope is jolted or tilted, it messes up everything for you. That's why it looks like that's the case now. But coming back to that statistics, I don't believe in it. Okay. It's debatable anyway. Okay. But it can't be the next corrupt thing to police. No. Okay. We just have a few funny people around. But somehow they've elevated those ones to look like the whole judiciary is bad, is corrupt. No, we have outstanding personalities.
The lawyers pay any form of money when they want to file their papers in courts? Do they pay money at any process, Filing or...
There are fees for filing. There are filing fees that you have to pay, statutory fees that you have to pay in the course of filing. That's how the judiciary is funded, from such monies you pay.
And then judges saying that, okay, their children want to get married, or they want to go on vacation, and some lawyers gather money. Gather money. We just want to clarify, really, because for you to say that the institution is not corrupt.
When you go and file your papers in court, whatever you're filing for divorce, you're filing a civil suit, or even, it's the government that files criminal suit. I guess they have a way they sort that out between the parastatals and, the court. Now, but for individuals, you have to pay fees. Even if you do the alternative dispute resolution thing, there are fees that you pay. Those are the fees that keep, those institutions going. Now, but those are normal fees, official monies that you have to pay. But giving a judge money for
some kind of
for
gratification
things,
or
gratification, war, whatever it is, it doesn't speak well. In fact, if you look at...
But it happens. Do you agree it happens? Have you witnessed any? Because earlier you said you do not agree with that report. So we just want to clarify here.
Yeah, we've had one or two comments. I think there was some judge at the NIC that they said maybe his father died or he was celebrating something, and some senior advocates actually paid into. That is not, that definitely, it will change things. If I give you money, you would defer to me. There is no way, whether overtly or covertly, you would defer to me in some sense. So that colors his office, and that wouldn't go well. So in that definitely will conflict with whatever you want to do. So that is not proper, it is unethical, and it shouldn't be like that.
Well, you re-echoed earlier the mind of a number of people in your profession, of course, lawyers like yourself who say, look, it's only a handful of people who are making the judiciary to look really bad. But for an institution that is seen to be totally above board, like Caesar's wife, shouldn't there be zero cases of corruption in the judiciary? Like you said, it is the last hope of the common man. And if there is any dent at all, then it's a dent on the whole institution. And the Vice President himself, Yemi Osinbajo, only recently said corruption in the judiciary is ubiquitous, quoting his word.
Well, let me take it
one by one.
You're overwhelmed.
Okay.
I'm really overwhelmed, but really, I've met. I mean, these are people we relate every day. They're great people. They're people, the judicial officers who are even concerned about this rot. And they know it's just perpetrated by a few. Now, coming to why this happens, it's supposed to be like zero, but the problem is they're human. They're human, but we can't excuse them on that. They have their own failings. And that is not an excuse anyway. And when you find people like that, it's good to get them out of the system, because once you allow things like that to fester, then you will create.
Okay, let's look at the remuneration of judges. Some have complained that that somehow opened up the vista of corruption in the judiciary and then among judges. Are they well paid? Are they taken care of by the government? And if not, just paint a picture of how judges
if it comes to payment, salaries, emoluments,
the welfare
and all that,
generally.
No money is big enough for anybody. Everybody wants, I mean, the largest room in the world.
I asked
is
that
room
question. If you compare the remuneration of judges in other states to that of judges in Lagos, it's quite different.
I was going to go there.
So
Lagos State is the flagship. Lagos State is doing well, fantastically well. In fact, I think when the Vice President was Attorney General in Lagos, it actually rejigged the entire system, and most states come around to look at what Lagos is doing in judiciary, even with tax and all that. Now, but you see, there's no money they pay you that is enough. You have to be contented with yourself and with what you're given. But as for salaries, I was in court sometime in February, Lagos High Court, and some judge was alluding to the fact that there are states that haven't paid judges. Where you have things like that, these are people, they have families, they have needs, if you've not paid a judge and somebody brings money, it's just a matter of time. Now, so it lies on the government also to actually step in and make sure that things like that don't happen. If a judge has not been paid for 6 months, come on, it's just, you're setting him up for destruction. Because if I'm not paid now, and mind you, this is somebody who works, they practically don't have a life. You need to actually look at what a judge's life is to understand what they're going through. For me, it's a very boring life.
Let's not even just get fixated with the pay aspect. Let's look at the overall welfare, the package for a judge to function well. What does a good judge, okay, let's remove the good. What does a judge need to deliver on his job in a conscientious manner, knowing that his role in society, because the society stands on a tripod, the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. If the judiciary, that is the most vital aspect that the ordinary man on the street relies on, And not just him, the foreigner who wants to do business with Nigeria, if he has the perception that his business may be jeopardized if he comes to Nigeria, I mean,
I understand. To actually stand out in your job,
yes,
you owe that to yourself. First of all, you owe that to yourself. You determine within yourself that I'm going to do my job well, I'm going to be incorruptible, and I'm going to act well. Now that you owe that to yourself. But beyond that, I've been to courts outside this climate, Europe and America, and we're a little behind when it comes to doing the job. Our judges still write in long hands. From the magistracy to the highest court.
You were painting a picture of the non-availability of technology, the overwhelming nature of a judge doing his job, poor welfare and all of that. What does that do to the Administration of Criminal Justice Act that's in place?
Yeah, the laws are good. It can still be better. But you see, the thing is this. If all those things are not in place, it impacts on the person that lies on to dispense justice effectively and adequately. Now, so if we're really serious about the fight against corruption, then you have to make sure that those who will dispense justice are properly remunerated, all right, and also they have the necessary technology at their disposal, and also you have enough research assistance, then build more courts. Now, why I'm not in support of having a special court for corruption, that will mean constitutional change, and that's a serious thing. You have to go around the states. We don't need that. Just bring in more judges.
Strengthen the system already.
Strengthen the system, build a better institution, and before you know it, our judiciary will be the best for it.
Okay, Olatubo Moshifora, thank you for your analysis at this time on perceived corruption in the judiciary. You're a lawyer. Thank you.